Hard pass, keep going. Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. We are The Movie Couple. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And this is our review for The Mummy.
Mummy.
The Mummy is directed by Alex Kurtzman and it stars Tom Cruise, Annabelle Wallis, Sofia Boutella, and Russell Crowe. When the sarcophagus that held Princess Amunet is disturbed, it awakens her and her power, unleashing chaos onto the human world. So Dustin, we've seen plenty of trailers for this movie. This is the first movie into the Dark Universe franchise, which is now what it's called. So what was your expectation going into this?
Well, my expectation was I was expecting an action horror movie, which is pretty much exactly what we got. I wasn't really expecting anything phenomenal. I wasn't expecting to get blown away. I was expecting a good little popcorn movie that might be more fun. What I was a little curious about was whether it was going to fall a little bit more on the action side or a little bit more on the horror side.
I see. I remember the trailer. There were parts that I really liked about it. Like, I think Sofia Boutella looked great in the trailer. And the one thing that really weirded me out was in the plane where in the trailer they were crashing and Tom Cruise did the weird, like, screaming. And I was like, that's interesting. And I thought it was like, I felt like, kind of like what you said, like an action movie. So in a way it was kind of like Mission Impossible. Mixed a little bit with, like, you know, the fantastical part of The Mummy.
That's kind of what I was having. It was like Mission Impossible case Mummy.
Yeah, like they were trying to cram a lot in there when it probably all needed to be was an adventure movie with a horror element, which is what I would like to see. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about what you liked about this movie.
I actually thought it was a pretty fun movie. So, I mean, they had some really good action. It had a good combination of horror and action. So it wasn't like, you know, for me, I'm not a big fan of scary movies. I'm not a big fan of monster kind of movies. But this had just a nice little taste of horror in it, but it still had some fun action moments. What
I really liked was actually the cast. I thought the cast had good chemistry. I thought in each scene they really did keep me entertained, keep me in that moment specifically. And I know Tom Cruise, he's, you know, I think anyways, he's a really good actor. And obviously he was captivating as always. But Sofia Boutella really blew me away with her physicality. And she's a dancer. And we've seen what she can do in The Kingsman, but and also in Star Trek. But she really had a lot more screen time in this one, where she is the main evil, the main villain in this movie. So I really enjoyed her, and I also enjoyed what they did with Russell Crowe, because obviously, like we just said, this is the first installment of the Dark Universe, so obviously there's going to be more movies, you know, following like the classic monster universe. And the introduction of Russell Crowe's character was actually really intriguing and made me want to see more.
I also, too, liked Sofia Boutella as the Mummy. I mean, you're right, her physicality, there was just some moments in there that she was, like, really creepy and doing, like, the whole, like, scuttering away. I was like,
yeah.
This movie really did have some good, creepy kind of moments to it. And this is going to be kind of a plus and kind of a minus, but I think it lands for me more on a plus.
Okay.
Is that they had, so she's the Mummy, and then she's able to have, like, her little minions.
Oh, her other, she's able to call on, you know,
call on the
other mummies,
And it really reminded me a lot. It's like they pulled a lot of inspiration from Walking Dead.
Okay. Oh, I see. The movement, you mean?
Yeah, the way they moved, the way they acted, and just kind of the way they were, what they were.
Yeah.
Was very, there was a lot of shots that they had with them. I was like, Walking Dead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I did like that. Now that you brought that up, the fact that Sofia Boutella, her character as the Mummy, was able to call on and have, you know, her minions in there, and that I think that's so classic mummies, that they would be able to control, you know, to bring the dead back to life, and they would still be undead, and so that was really, really interesting to see. And what I also liked is I thought it had a pretty good even balance of action pieces and horror. Like, I don't think it's so scary, like insert really scary movie here. where you're like, oh my god, I can't look. But there are moments where it just gets to you where you're like, oh, okay. So there were a couple of scenes, I won't give those away, but where I was like, nope, no, thank you. Let's just, it's a hard pass. Keep going.
One thing that was a big negative for me, though, was the fact that they used jump scares way too much. I mean, even right at the beginning, they used jump scares and fake jump scares. And I'm like, I really wanted them to actually have a little bit more intention behind the reasons for the jump scares. But after a while, it got a little annoying, but nothing to where I was like, oh my God, come on.
Okay. Well, that's funny because the jump scares actually didn't bother me at all. I actually really didn't notice them. I wouldn't really necessarily say I jumped in the movie as to more certain scenes made my skin crawl a little bit and made my make me cringe just a little bit, and I wanted to get away from the screen as much as possible. But like what I didn't like was the lack of character development for Tom Cruise's character. You know, you kind of don't know they don't give you a backstory. So is he this military guy? Is he, like, they're trying to kind of, I feel like they borrowed a lot from the essence of Nathan Drake.
Yes, I think they did too.
But then they didn't follow through.
They didn't,
because they're kind of like, oh, maybe we're copying too much, so we're just going to let that go. And it just kind of felt flat. And you have Tom Cruise, I think, who is an amazing actor who pretty much could do anything you ask him to do. And then the character just kind of falls flat. Yeah,
I think they've really just told you, oh yeah, he's really this thief with a heart of gold kind of thing. But it's not like they really showed it. There was no examples of his heart of gold. There's really no examples of him being a thief. They just told you that he was.
Right.
They just told you that.
They didn't tell you how he got there, how he knew certain people in the military, like where did his military ties came from? Like, is he retired? Was he blacklisted? You know, is he kind of like an outside freelancer that they kind of hired to do certain things? So none of that was explained very well, and I felt like I really couldn't care for that character because of that. I wanted to care about him, but in the end, I was just kind of like, well, all right, you know, action star, it's cool. I also want to talk about pacing. I thought it was just really all over the place. They had action pieces that were great, that would end very abruptly, and then they go into this long, slow flashback that, to me anyways, really didn't pay off. And when they did the flashbacks, it would drag on a little bit too long, and it got to the point where I was bored, where I was kind of like, can we get back to present day, please?
And I also thought that they kind of repeated themselves a lot. It's like, okay, we know this about the character. Tell us something new. Go tell us something about something other character, but you don't have to beat us over the head with it. Yeah,
I get it. You were in the desert. I got it. I got that 10 times already.
So overall, what would you give this movie in an overall score?
You know, man, my mind keeps changing because even though I had a problem with pacing and the character development for Tom Cruise's character, I was still thoroughly entertained. I think this is a fun summer movie. I wish it was more like adventure horror versus trying to be action and horror, and because it seemed very separate. Each scene seemed very separate. Like, this is action now, this is horror now, and it never really blended for me. But I still enjoyed it. It's a fun popcorn movie, fun summer release. I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie 6.8 out of 10.
And you know what? Because actually that's where I was going with it. Somewhere between a 6.5 and a 6.8. I'm actually probably going to give it a little bit lower. I'm going to give it a 6.5. I'm hoping that what they can do is, if they're going to move this universe forward, whatever the next one is, we'll be able to hit it a little bit harder. Now that we kind of know the characters a little bit more, and now that we're not obviously going to go into their background, maybe that we can have just them kind of hit the ground running and be able to make the next one a little bit better.
Well, you guys, that's it for our review. Let us know in the comment section below whether or not you are excited to see this movie, and also let us know what Universal monster you're looking forward to most in this next brand new Dark Universe franchise. Well, that's it for us. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to tune in on Thursday, where we're going to have our 10K subscribers live stream and giveaway. We're going to pick 2 winners to win a shirt and a gift card from Fandango from us. So, guys, that's it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. See you in the next video.